Hi, please welcome to our channel Waqar with us. If you're someone new to our channel, my name is Shubham. I along with my wife Jayati, we make Europe related informative videos and travel content. In today's video, I would be interviewing an architect who has not only worked in one continent, but not in two continents, but in even several more. An individual who is a Canadian citizen, born and brought up in Pakistan, married to a German, and has studied in London. And not only has that person worked in Amsterdam, Netherlands, but also in Canada and also in Pakistan. And on top of that, he has been the head person for the architecture department in Pakistan in Comsats University. Please allow me to welcome Professor and architect Waqar Asis.
Hello Shubham.
Hello Waqar ji, thank you so much for your time.
Well,
undoubtedly, he's one of the finest and smartest human beings that I've come across lately. So I thought it would be worth interviewing him, and luckily after years of effort, he has finally agreed for the interview.
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me on this your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to say this is something that is much needed, especially for students and young professionals coming from our part of the world. Actually, not just our part of the world, but any part of the world, for them to understand what it means to study and practice architecture in different parts of the world as well. So, thank you once again.
Yes. Your introduction is one of the finest. I think I would do it on my channel. So, just kindly put your life in chronological order for us.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Pakistan. I did my bachelor's from National College of Arts, Lahore, which is one of the premier universities for architecture and art in Pakistan. After that, I did my master's from Bartlett, UCL London. And right after doing my master's, I immigrated to Canada.
Okay, all right.
So since 2000 till 2008, I was practicing architecture in Canada, in Vancouver. And after that, I just decided that maybe it would be a good idea to learn a little bit more about architecture. So me and my wife, we moved to Netherlands, to Amsterdam, where we were for the next 3 years. And after that, I moved back to Pakistan to spend some time back again in my home country and with my family, during which I practiced architecture as well as I taught architecture for 5 years in NUST University, Islamabad. And after these 5 years, I was lucky enough to be offered headship for Department of Architecture and Design in Comsats University, Lahore. And by my 11th year, I was a chairperson architecture for Comsats University.
And if I'm right, you are currently working in Germany as an architect, and you're also hosting and attending and kind of organizing these design workshops in German universities.
That's right. Right? That's right. So me and my family moved to Germany roughly 2 years ago. And since then I've been practicing at Franken Generalplaner in Frankfurt, and as well as doing some workshops twice a year with university in Düsseldorf.
Okay, great. Waqarji, I have a set of questions that I think would be very much helpful for the viewers as well. So I think let me straightforwardly get into that. तो बेसिक सा सवाल एक स्टूडेंट्स का और किसी भी यंग प्रोफेशनल का, इंडिविजुअल का ये आता है कि कौन सी कंट्री से इन टर्म्स ऑफ से कनाडा, जर्मनी और नेदरलैंड्स और इवन पाकिस्तान, कौन सी कंट्री हैज़ बीन द बेस्ट फॉर यू टू वर्क?
To work?
Yes.
देखिए शुभम, सबसे पहले तो I think this is a very difficult question because there could be so many different sides to your life. Architecture and practicing architecture is one of them. But I'm glad that you asked about architecture and practicing architecture. I would say each country had its merits and its problems. Canada was really good in terms of me growing from a junior architect position to a project architect position.
And just to give an insight to our viewers, in Canada, where were you? In Toronto or Vancouver?
I was in Vancouver on the west coast, and I was working with, first of all, a company called Bing Tom Architects, which is no more anymore.
And it was kind of a mid-sized or a big office?
It was a mid-sized office, so we had roughly 45 to 50 people working there at one time.
All right.
And after which I worked with Acton Nostri in Vancouver, or Acton Nostri ke baad I was working as a project architect, senior project architect actually, with I Constructs in Vancouver.
All
so
right.
3-4 different firms that I worked there for.
So I'm guessing ये सारी firms different sizes की थी.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing आपने Netherlands में भी ऐसे ही offices में काम किया होगा या completely different size के थे?
Netherlands में interestingly enough ज़्यादातर जो offices हैं they are very small or medium size offices or maximum medium size offices, other than some which are really big. So for example, I worked for a sister company of OMA, Rem Koolhaas की जो company है.
Very nice company.
On few projects, which was a large size office. But other than that, one architecture, inside, outside, Orhan Urban Design, these were the offices I worked for, which were medium to small size offices.
और अगर मैं जनरल एक ओवरऑल पिक्चर की बात करूँ तो कौन सी कंट्री आप चूज करेंगे कि हाँ यार यहाँ पे काम करके मज़ा आ गया?
I would definitely say जो formative creative years होते हैं जिसमें you want to learn more about architecture, you want to try different kind of creative things. I would say Europe was really good to me.
Okay, that's nice. That's good to know. Thank God we are in the right location.
Yeah. And Canada has its merits, especially when it comes to construction.
Okay.
क्योंकि उसमें अभी 3-4 मुख्तलिफ किस्म की जो construction techniques है is being followed. So you have wood construction, you have concrete construction, you have steel construction. So if you're working in an American or a Canadian office, the chances are that you will learn a lot more about construction and details.
All right, good to know.
But creatively, probably Europe is a better place to be.
और अगर मैं आपसे जनरली बात करूं कि ठीक है काम के हिसाब से तो आपने बोल दिया यूरोप, बट रहने वाइज के लिए आप क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे? हमारी देसी कंट्रीज बेटर हैं, कनाडा बेटर है या यूरोप इन जनरल से जर्मनी?
देखिए देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स दैट लाइक आई सेड के यू हैव टू कंसीडर. सो अगर तो आप छड़े छाट हैं,
यस,
you're on your own, you're a bachelor, then probably you can experiment more, you can kind of take risks, you can do other things.
Yes.
So Europe is definitely the place for you.
Okay, all right.
I was thinking about this when पहले भी हमारी इस पे बातचीत होती रही है.
Yes, of course.
So I had a word that kept on coming to my mind when it comes to not just architecture but life, but life of an architect. Let's put it this way.
जी.
मेरे ख्याल में वो लफ्ज़ है connected.
Okay.
So we connect things together as architects, and we also seek connections as individuals.
Okay.
So when you're looking for a place to grow, you need to find a place which is also connected.
Yes, very right.
When it comes to Europe, it is probably the most connected place on earth right now, right? So I would definitely suggest कि अपने formative years में you must be looking for a place like Europe, let's say.
All right.
But if you have a family, you want to settle somewhere, you want to have kids, you want to do all of that, Europe is a good place.
Okay.
But then you can also expand yourself and think about America, Canada, these kind of areas to work with. मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि because it was really interesting आपने कहा कि हमारे इलाके. Like I said before, I taught in Pakistan for 11 years. Same amount of time I spent in doing projects in Pakistan with different companies and my own company as well. एक चीज़ जो मुझे बार बार याद आती है about पाकिस्तान और इंडिया और ये सारा एरिया के बारे में, वो ये है कि हमारे पास बहुत पोटेंशियल है, क्रिएटिविटी है,
बिल्कुल
चीज़ें हैं करने को. जो चीज़ नहीं है वो शायद रिसोर्सेस.
ओके.
सो मे बी आप जहाँ भी रहो, जहाँ भी काम करो, कीप अ कॉन्टेक्ट विद योर होम.
All right, home country.
While you're doing
it.
Okay. And maybe then you can work even
in your home
those
country
parts
as well.
Yes.
That's a very good point. जैसे कि आपने रिसोर्सेज की बात की, तो नॉर्मली मोस्टली ना सारे लोगों का ये डाउट होता है कि हम किसी भी कंट्री में चले जाएं, बट मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूँगा कि क्या है वो एक सैलरी टू सेविंग्स रेशो. मतलब ऑफ कोर्स ये बहुत सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन है इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि किसी बंदे का एक्सपेंस क्या है, वो जैसे आपने मेंशन किया कि कोई फैमिली वाला बंदा है या फिर वो सिंगल पर्सन है, बट इन जनरल ओवरऑल कौन सी कंट्री में आप सजेस्ट करेंगे या फिर आपके एक्सपीरियंस के अकॉर्डिंग savings ratio is more than the others?
Normally it's said that there should be a 40-60% एक ratio for how much you spend and how much your rent is and how much your the rest of your living expenses are. And then it's also said that you should be roughly saving 1/3 of your overall salary.
All right.
These are some kind of guidelines. I would say that Canada, America is very standardized. So, आपके शुरू के सालों में, your formative years, especially when you go there as an immigrant or you're studying there and all of that, you're not going to save that much.
All right.
But later, once you are, let's say, 5-6 years there, you can start saving. But Europe, probably, you can save more initially. But then it becomes a little more kind of, stable. एक line आ जाती है यहाँ पे.
जैसे मैंने अपनी प्रीवियस वीडियोस में बात की है कि अगर कोई इंसान यूरोप में 1000 यूरो सेव कर रहा है, दैट इज़ मच मोर दैन व्हाट इफ दे आर सेविंग काइंड ऑफ से $1000 इन कनाडा और इन यूएस, बिकॉज वहाँ पे ट्रैवल डिस्टेंसेस इतने ज़्यादा हैं. अगर मैं आपसे सिर्फ बात करूँ से वैंकूवर टू ब्रैम्पटन और टोरंटो, वो 5.5 घंटे हैं. यहाँ से 6 घंटे में तो हमारी होम कंट्रीज आ जाती हैं. तो इज़ दैट थिंकिंग करेक्ट?
दैट इज़ वेरी करेक्ट. देखें, पैसा जो है वो डायरेक्टली इज ट्रांसलेटेड इनटू द क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ दैट यू आर गेटिंग.
ऑफ कोर्स, यस.
So travel being one. The other thing is you need to kind of nurture your soul. You need to be able to look at creative things around you, visit places and all of that.
All right.
And what I've seen so far from your blog, probably जितना travel आपने किया है पिछले कुछ टाइम के अंदर.
अच्छा, आपने ब्लॉग देखे?
जी बिल्कुल.
Oh shit.
But शायद इतना ट्रैवल बहुत से लोग अमेरिका कनाडा में 20 सालों में
नहीं. Yeah.
Because things are, like you said, really far away from each other.
And even the ticket prices.
Exactly, and the life is too hectic and stressful. छुट्टियाँ शायद कम हैं आपके पास, दफ्तरों का वर्क स्ट्रेस ज़्यादा है.
Yes.
और जिसकी वजह से बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है वो क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ अचीव करना उन पैसों में जिसमें आप यहाँ भी कर सकते हैं.
Alright. Another subjective question, but just an overall image कि आपके अकॉर्डिंग एन आर्किटेक्ट कैन अर्न मैक्सिमम कौन सी कंट्री में, इन सारी कंट्रीज को अगर हम कंपेयर करें?
अगर इन
saving for a
कंट्रीज को आप कंपेयर करें तो डेफिनेटली अमेरिका कनाडा टॉप्स द लिस्ट.
ऑलराइट.
बिकॉज जो मल्टीनेशनल्स हैं वो बहुत बड़ी हैं.
Okay.
So you can kind of climb up the ladder and be able to earn way more than, let's say, in a comparative office over here in Europe. But again, this should be taken as with a caution, क्योंकि बार बार वही बात वापस आती है कि मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि सिर्फ पैसा ही ज़रूरी नहीं है, but the things that you are able to buy with that.
Exactly, the quality of the way of living. Yes, all right. तो वाकार जी, इससे मैं आता हूँ अपने अगले क्वेश्चन पे, जो कि है अगर मान लीजिए कोई भी इंडिविजुअल या कोई भी बिगिनर, प्रोबेबली स्टूडेंट्स, सिंस यू हैव टॉट मेनी स्टूडेंट्स, क्या वो एक ऐसी मोस्ट कॉमन बेसिक मिस्टेक है जो इंडिविजुअल्स कर रहे हैं एंड दैट यू वुड रिकमेंड कि ओके अगर आप इनिशियल ईयर्स में इन चीज़ों का ख्याल रख रहे हैं तो इट वुड बी अ बेटर लाइफ फॉर यू इन दिस प्रोफेशन? कोई स्पेसिफिक थिंग जो आपके माइंड में आ रही हो? सेकेंड,
यस, ख़ास तौर पे वो स्टूडेंट्स जो कि हमारे इलाके से, नॉट इवन हमारे, लेट्स से मोस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड एक्चुअली, हमारी एक ट्रेडिशन ये है कि हम बैचलर्स अपना कंप्लीट करते हैं और फ़ौरन से मास्टर्स के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं.
जी बिल्कुल.
क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि थोड़ा सा ज़रा हम घर से बाहर निकलें, यू सी द वर्ल्ड अ लिटिल बिट मोर, यू फाइंड मोर एडवेंचर,
थोड़ा चिल कर ले लाइफ में.
एग्जैक्टली, विच इज़ ऑल फाइन एंड गुड, बट उसकी वजह से होता ये है कि the kind of mindset that you require to do a master's वो बहुत कम हमारे में आता है.
So आप कह रहे हैं exposure is more bent towards having fun rather than the studying.
Either that or we do it too often. Let's just put it this way. So हमारे students के लिए I think जो बड़ी important चीज़ ये है कि they should really make up their mind and know what they want.
Okay.
Before they apply for a master's. Second thing is कि there is very little information. इसी वजह से मैं कह रहा था कि this is a very good initiative. About master's programs, schools, and there's a lot of noise out there as well.
Exactly.
So there's a big Ivy League names out there, जहाँ करोड़ों में मास्टर्स कराया जाता है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
And those are the few names that everybody knows. But I think इस वक्त जो situation है आर्किटेक्चर के अंदर, degree is only going to count for a very small portion of
all right. This is a very important thing, guys.
In the future, what will be needed in the future is exposure, skill set, I think a spirit just with which you can innovate. and that is not necessarily only available in Ivy League universities.
Okay.
So I would suggest again, and this is also something that a school cannot just provide to you. This
Okay.
is something that you have to also
Yeah. So
hone
basically
or
you
nurture.
would have to get your hands dirty, try करना पड़ेगा. तो इस
Exactly.
point से मुझे लगता है तो it would be better as well for people to not aim for bigger offices but also for small offices, because it is going to help you get more exposure and to learn to do lot many things in a shorter period of time, right?
I would say yes, absolutely. I would say even in a big office कोई उसके अंदर मज़ाक़ा नहीं है काम करने में, but where is that office
Okay.
matters a lot.
Alright,
If
location.
that office is connected
Okay.
with other offices, with other experts,
So
with
basically
other things.
any office that's international would be a plus point as well.
Absolutely, but
Okay.
international not in an isolated kind of a place.
Okay.
So again, unfortunately, that brings us back to Europe, because there is so many connections जो कि historically भी हैं और अभी भी हैं और future में भी होंगे, कि यहाँ पे बहुत there's a multiple layers of work and collaboration that is going
Exactly.
on over here.
And just to highlight, like in Germany, whenever we are working on architecture projects, we are not just working on German projects. We are also probably working on Russian projects or probably projects in Italy. तो ये एक अच्छी चीज़ है, because you get to know about these 15 to 20 countries that are around you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Waqar ji, इससे हम आते हैं अपने अगले topic पे. And the next question that I have for you is, what is the best advice given to you in this field?
Okay, the best advice given to me in this field, it's tough questions, because I had a lot of very good teachers. I would say the best advice that was given to me in this field in terms of learning architecture was to try
Okay.
and keep on trying again and again.
All right.
Increase your knowledge as much as you can.
Okay.
But not necessarily only through books, but through experiences,
All
about
right.
practical things that you can do, and then share it with people.
Okay, great. So basically आपके पास theoretical knowledge और practical knowledge इन दोनों का मजा लेना चाहिए आपको, क्योंकि यही आपका exposure बढ़ाएंगी. Very good point. और इससे मेरा एक follow up question भी आपसे, and then what is the worst advice given to you in architecture field?
Well, I don't know. Worst
काम करते रहिए.
advice. हाँ, बहुत मेहनत करें.
अच्छा, actually.
बहुत
Okay.
ज़्यादा मेहनत
All
करें.
right.
This is something that exactly I think this would be the worst advice given to me, कि बहुत मेहनत करनी चाहिए. Because architecture को थोड़ा सा हम arts के मायनों में लेते हैं.
All right.
So we think that there's something, that kind of a spiritual thing somewhere, and more you try to push it out, better you will be as an architect. I don't think that's the case. I think architecture, like any other kind of an education or educational system, needs direction, clarity.
All right.
तो वहाँ मेहनत करें जहाँ आपको पता है कि मेहनत की ज़रूरत है.
Okay.
जहाँ नहीं पता, उसको या पता कर ले या मेहनत ना करें.
Very nice point. So basically आपको सिर्फ hard work नहीं करना है, आपको smart work भी करना है.
Exactly.
And आपको you have to make sure that you are doing it at the right location. It could be a right university or a right opportunity, but अपना hard work को अच्छे से directionalize करें ताकि वो आपको best से best output दे सके. All right.
Exactly.
सो वकार जी, वैसे इतना बूम रहता है, एंड सिंस आजकल के ट्रेंड्स के हिसाब से देखें तो अब एआई भी आ चुका है, तो आपके अकॉर्डिंग इस टाइम पे कौन से ऐसे सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं जो लोगों को ब्रश अप कर लेने चाहिए आने वाले टाइम के लिए?
देखिए, आई वुड से दैट यू शुड, एज अ स्टूडेंट एंड ऑल्सो एज अ यंग प्रोफेशनल और इवन एज अ मिड करियर प्रोफेशनल, try your hand at as many softwares as you can. Not
Okay.
just because then you can work with that one particular software, but also हर सॉफ्टवेयर के पीछे एक थिंकिंग होती है कि किस तरह से वो काम करता है, वो किस तरह से बनाया गया है. More you know about it, more unknown softwares you can attempt in as well.
Okay.
Very soon, I think we are seeing it right now, especially जिस तरह से आपने अभी कहा कि with AI and all of these new tools that are coming up, शायद उस तरह से monopoly of softwares are not going to be there anymore. There's
Okay.
not going to be Max as being one rendering solution out there for architects. So what you need to learn is how to nearly even build your own softwares if you have to.
Okay.
In a way. And you can only do it if you just try your hand at different kind of a thing. So more you experiment, more you work, better prepared for the future you'll be.
All right, that's actually a very realistic advice. I know Waqar ji personally, he's like software hub in himself. He can do like, he knows multiple softwares from Grasshopper, Rhino to AutoCAD, he just knows it all. So I think that's a very practical advice. So the more softwares you know, the better it is for you. So Waqar ji, in general, आप मुझे ये बताइए कि is architecture a good paying profession?
No, absolutely.
Sadly,
not.
that's the truth of our profession. We can clarify it right now and right this point. So it is not. Okay,
No.
all right. And what if not, for example, since अब तो बात हो ही गई है कि इसमें salaries इतनी अच्छी नहीं है, तो what is that thing that personally drives you to be a good architect or to work hard in this profession?
I think a sense of achievement.
Sense of achievement, all right.
A sense that you're building something from ground up. A sense that you're attempting something that is unknown.
Okay.
A feeling that you're working towards betterment of people around you,
Yes.
right? And then कहते हैं ना कि the greatest invention of man is a city.
Okay.
So you're directly working with the greatest invention of man there is, so or the biggest.
So it's just not about the money, it's also about the reason behind it and the depth that you want to work in this particular field. कि okay, मुझे ये चीज़ इसलिए करनी है because I really want the city or the place to be a better place for living.
Exactly.
That's a very nice approach, Waqar जी. ये तो हो गए हमारे सारे basic questions. अब मेरे पास हैं कुछ क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग या क्वेरीज जो कि मोस्टली स्टूडेंट्स को होती है और नॉर्मली लोग भी जानना चाहते हैं कि ओके कनाडा, जर्मनी, नीदरलैंड्स और इवन आर देसी कंट्रीज पाकिस्तान, इंडिया, कौन सी ऐसी कंट्री रही है जहाँ पे अब तक आपके लिए वर्क वाइज सबसे शिटियस्ट एनवायरनमेंट रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस?
वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, आई वुड से कनाडा.
कि गंदा रहा है?
जी,
ओह शिट.
ऑफ कोर्स, बिकॉज जैसे मैंने कहा कि the thing is that in American and Canadian offices the speed of work is really fast. So 18 घंटे 20 घंटे का दिन
Oh wow.
is normal if you are a project architect.
So that's almost like what we have it in India as well at times because you have to work on the weekends or so. And जहाँ तक मुझे पता है, I think यूरोप में फिर भी थोड़ा relaxed है.
It is.
Right?
Definitely.
And in terms of even if you're working on the weekends, you are given a benefit that you can take a day off during the weekdays, or actually most of the time it doesn't happen like that. Once in 6 months, once in 3-4 months, it happens in a life of an architect कि आपको weekends पे बैठ के काम करना पड़ रहा है.
Exactly.
Okay. Waqar ji, the next question that I have is कि normally mostly लोगों को ना ये बहुत doubt रहता है और वो हमेशा सोचते रहते हैं कि whether or not they should even change their city. Even if they are in India, Pakistan, they think like कि अगर मैं किसी और city में चला जाऊँगा तो मुझे शायद वहाँ की रेगुलेशन समझ नहीं आएंगी. But when it comes to changing country, what advice do you have for people जो कि अपने माइंडसेट को लिमिट करते हैं मेरे अकॉर्डिंग कि नहीं हमें उस कंट्री में नहीं जाना चाहिए क्योंकि हमें समझ नहीं आएगा? आपका क्या मानना है इस पूरे टॉपिक पर?
देखिए, I come from a very small town in Pakistan, and my parents are still there.
Okay.
And they were government servants. They lived their whole lives in that place. So I understand that mentality. That's what I'm trying to say. I would say, sadly, if you trust me, this is not an option anymore.
Okay.
ऐसे ज़िंदगी नहीं गुजारी जा सकती because
Very fair point.
now everything is changing. Everything is shifting. जहाँ रिसोर्स की हमने पहले बात की, इसी तरह से क्लाइमेट को आप देख लें, आप नौकरियों को देख लें, लाइफ स्टाइल्स देख लें, पॉलिटिक्स देख लें.
Absolutely.
सो ये जो एक यूटोपियन ड्रीम था कि यू कैन बी born and live in one place and grow up and prosper in that little place is probably not happening anymore, especially for South Asia and people like us. So you have to do it. Of course, this is not easy. That I also understand. I changed cities, countries and continents, so it is always difficult.
Okay.
But that difficulty has its own charm as well, right?
Yes, of course.
It's like understanding something new, building yourself, excuse me, building yourself up once again.
All right. Yes.
Trying new things, growing in a new direction altogether. I think it's fantastic. वो जो शुरू का एक डर होता है, if you can just cross that border.
That's what I actually also talk about in my previous videos. As long as the reason is not the health of a family or your health, you should definitely be trying out different countries, different cities and get more and more exposure. क्योंकि आप जहाँ बैठे हैं आप वहाँ पे exactly कभी भी लाइफ में आ ही सकते हैं वापस. That would never be a problem. And you really need to see बाहर जाकर what the opportunities are, what the world is doing, and get some more exposure, and then probably you can come back with probably extra money as well. Because I'm guessing basic countries में we are not earning that much and probably also not saving that much.
Absolutely.
Okay. वकार जी, मेरे पास एक और क्वेश्चन है. एक क्वेरी जो रहती है इस टाइम पे, if not architecture, with the same knowledge that you have right now, and if you go in past, what profession would you have chosen? If not architecture, जो आपके अकॉर्डिंग इस टाइम पे बूम कर रहा है.
जो इस वक्त बूम कर रहा है, I think I would have chosen computer sciences.
Computer science?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, I actually took admission in computer science, and I think उस टाइम पे everybody was doing engineering, so मुझे लगा मैं भी कर लेता हूँ, but I dropped out and I came to architecture. And unfortunately now I'm always like giving young people advice that even if it's there is a possibility, do computer science, because from coding to all that stuff you would be able to earn a lot, and there's a lot many opportunities internationally that is there.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. And Waqar ji, if you yourself go back in time 20 years or 25 years, which country would you want to pursue your architecture career in now? Or would you still say that I would want to try different things?
I think I would have ended up trying different things.
Okay.
But I would have probably wanted, or I would probably want to spend more time in Europe.
Okay.
Rather than in America or Canada.
All right.
That's for sure.
And basically जैसे हम देखते हैं कि normally आजकल architecture universities की fees, tuition fees tremendously high है. तो in which country would you suggest someone to study this profession, since it's a low paying profession?
Quite honestly, I would definitely not suggest people going to very expensive universities.
Okay, all right.
Not just because it's a waste of money, but I also think that it's too difficult then.
Okay.
It's too much of a financial burden on you yourself or your parents to kind of do something like that. And the way that I see architecture kind of going in the future, it's going to be a part your school, but most of it is going to be what you bring to the table.
Exactly.
And what you can learn from the environment around you. So again, connectivity. Go to a university which is well connected, which takes risks, it's affordable, you get more time to travel around, look at things around you, and probably that's a better architectural education than.
Right. Very good to know. This is also the point that I keep on mentioning in my videos, that you need to bring up a very good personality to the table, because that would be actually playing a much bigger role compared to the university certificate that you have. Because in Germany, usually employers are not in Germany, I think in the world, employers are smart now. They're just after the mindset of the person and the skill set, not specifically कि उन्होंने कहाँ से यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाई की है. वो एक दो दिन तक या भाई स्टार्टिंग के एक महीने में बोलने के लिए अच्छा है, बट आपकी प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज और आपका एक्सपोजर is going to pay much more dividends.
I agree.
So I hope all this diverse information and the experience that Waqar ji just shared is going to help you in deciding which country or which specific place do you want to pursue this profession in. And in general भी अगर मैं ऐसे बोलूँ, I keep on talking about such things in my previous videos, that you always have to find someone who's already been there, follow that person, see what they have done, or probably ask questions. Because I also personally get a lot of DMs कि हमें कौन सी country में करना चाहिए, we just want to save, we do not want to spend a lot of our money, तो आप हमें suggest करेंगे जर्मनी आने के लिए, कनाडा जाने के लिए. तो I usually suggest कि it's better to do it in a place where it's cheaper, I think. And always to have mentors in life. For me, like low-key, I learn a lot many things from Waqar ji. Just for your information, Waqar ji and I, we work in the same organization at the moment, and I'm confident that you would see that as well, that he has an immense personality, very subtle, calm and composed personality. And I really hope कि आप लोग भी ऐसे individuals को as a mentor देखें और उनसे low-key चीज़ें सीखें. That would be really nice for your future as well. And Waqar ji, I would say thank you so much for all the information that you have shared. I really hope that this video, this information would be kind of like a liquid gold. That's what I say, liquid gold for all the students, for all the individuals who want to travel abroad or who want to study or pursue this architecture profession. So thank you so much for your time.
You're always welcome. I would just like to say that I'm humbled that you've asked me to share some of my experience with you. And I really hope that anybody who wants to pursue a career in architecture, best of luck. And if we can or I can help with even a little bit, I think our job is done.
Yes.
Thank you again.
I think Waqar ji is being very kind कि वो बोल रहे हैं he is humble, but let me tell you he is one of, like I mentioned it earlier in the video as well, he is one of the most smartest and finest human beings. एंड मैं इनसे बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखा हूँ. वन ऑफ द बेसिक थिंग्स, बेसिक फंड ऑफ लाइफ इज केक कटेगा सब में बटेगा. है ना. तो वेन एवर ही इज़ लीडिंग एनी प्रोजेक्ट ही इज़ वेरी स्मार्ट टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द वर्क ऑन टू द टीम, and he is very strict with his time management rules. He's the first person to enter the office and also the first person to leave the office, and that's a wonderful thing, and that's something that we do not get to see in our desi people, because we come here and we are like हमें और मेहनत करनी है और मेहनत करनी है. That's exactly how I was, but now after looking at him I have realized कि it's more about smart work and not just the hard work. And दूसरी चीज़ is जिसके साथ मैं वीडियो ख़त्म करना चाहूँगा, and we keep on joking about it. This is actually a dialogue that Shah Rukh Khan said. Genius is knowing when to stop. So better होगा हम ये वीडियो यहीं पे ख़त्म करें और हम वापस जाएं अपने काम पर, because I think Waqar ji has already given us his lunch time, and I think we all are grateful for that, for all the information that he shared. So अब हम चलते हैं अपनी नौकरी पर, इससे पहले शहंशाह नौकरी से निकाल दे.
ऐसे ही है.
Alright, thank you Waqar ji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.